We are expecting Lieutenant General Charles Bouchard, the commander of NATO's Operation Unified Protector, to join us from Naples in a few minutes and to give us an operational overview. Just a few words from me. The North Atlantic Council is meeting as we speak with our contributing partners for a regular progress report on the mission, and there is considerable progress. Our operations are having a visible effect on the ground. We have loosened the regime's grip over Misrata. We have made the east of Libya much more stable and secure, and we are saving lives. We're preventing large-scale attacks and making it safer for humanitarian aid deliveries. Gaddafi's regime is getting considerably weaker, but it still poses a threat to its own people. And NATO and its partners remain determined to fulfill the goals set by allies and partners in Berlin. We'll continue to keep up the pressure to contribute to a political settlement that allows the people of Libya to shape their own future. Because obviously there is no military solution to this crisis, as we have been saying from the start. Now, you may have seen press reports about a letter from the Gaddafi regime proposing a ceasefire. It was not sent to NATO, and anyway, words are not enough. The regime has made similar statements before. We've then seen them continuing to shell residential areas, continuing to attack civilians. So what matters are actions, not words, and those actions should be credible and verifiable. And with that, I'm pleased to go to Naples and to Lieutenant General Charles Bouchard. General, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Joanna. Good morning, Brussels, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen, here in Naples. It's been a few weeks since I've had a chance to address you and to provide you an update from my perspective, and this is what I'd like to do this morning. I think what we'll do is using the map that is to my right here, we'll take a look at the various areas. But the approach I want to talk about today is where we were on the 31st of March this year to where we are today. Benghazi area. On the 31st of March, anti-Gaddafi regime, anti-Gaddafi forces, command and control structure was fractured and ineffectual. The anti-Gaddafi forces were outgunned and were running, and the population was under direct threat of attack. Today, militarily, the command and control structure is improving. Anti-Gaddafi forces are better trained, and regular humanitarian assistance flights are moving in and out of Benghazi by air and by sea. And the people of Benghazi are safe. Going down towards Ashdabia area, on the 31st of March, the regime forces were attacking Ashdabia, directly shelling the population. And in fact, we were concerned at the time that Ashdabia was under severe threat of pro-Gaddafi regime forces. They were threatening by advancing towards Ashdabia, and in fact, they made it inside the city. Today, pro-Gaddafi forces have been pushed out into the Brega area, and anti-Gaddafi forces in Ashdabia have settled, and in fact there's no shelling conducted, and here again the civilian population is safe. All along the route from Brega to Sirte and Misrata, though, we continue to see logistic efforts to reinforce the forces that are left in Brega, and they remain active concern in that they have the capabilities and they have the intent and the will to continue to inflict casualties to the civilian population. But we have removed their ability to significantly affect the eastern region at this time. We continue our effort along the logistics routes to stop the movement of weapons, the movement of fuel and other logistic supplies that continue to reinforce in the Brega area. Misrata, on 31st of March, this city was under siege. The port was constantly being shelled, and humanitarian effort was in dire need, and ships were not able to enter the port of Misrata, and several casualties were being taken. Today, NATO airstrikes have been able to stop and in fact anti-Gaddafi forces have been able to retake the airfield, establish themselves in the south of Misrata and in the west. And in fact, we are seeing signs of return to normalcy in Misrata today. On the 31st of March and throughout the early weeks, Misrata was under the threat with no water, no electricity, no fuel, no food. The Gaddafi regime had stopped these, had stopped also the sewage system. Hospital and medical assistance was not reachable. Today, we are in control of the situation. The shelling has all but stopped, and we continue to see advances in the Misrata area and some return to normalcy in the Misrata area. Anti-Gaddafi forces continue to push along both axes in the south and in the west, but it is clear that we're also seeing movement from various areas, either from the west or the south, moving and to providing further assistance to the Gaddafi regime forces. And here again, there is a clear and present danger to the people of Misrata, and it is clear to us that the intent of the regime forces is to retake back the city and inflict further casualties. We have seen not only what I've just said earlier on, but we've also seen mines being laid in the port, and this morning's report showed us that a minefield was laid in the Misrata area. Anti-personnel mine, in contravention to international law, have been laid in the Misrata area to prevent the populations from moving. Mines do not make the difference whether it is a child or an adult. And we are dealing with that today as we're looking to the situation, attempting to define the minefield and to start the cleanup program, which will not be us, of course, as we do not have troops on the ground, but also we're monitoring the development as we look at it. In the Zintan-Yafran area, we now have, where on the 31st of March, troops are being shelled in both Yafran-Zintan area, and lines of communications were cut from Tunisia to allow humanitarian assistance effort from moving in. Today, we have a clear lines of communications which allow the movement of humanitarian assistance throughout that southern part. Finally, in Tripoli, on the 31st of March, the population was oppressed. The Gaddafi regime continued to give direct orders to its forces to continue harm the population and to continue their illegal and immoral action. Today, we've been very successful in significantly impacting their ability to send these orders through our continued pressure on the command and control centers throughout the Tripoli area. But of note, it's also important to understand that we have also ensured that the road from Tunisia into Tripoli is available for the movement of humanitarian assistance. We have ships carrying humanitarian aid that have entered the port of Tripoli, and humanitarian aid is moving. NATO and Unified Protector Forces do not hamper the movement of humanitarian assistance. Therefore, as I see it today, we have significantly removed the ability of regime forces to inflict mass casualties. But the intent and the capability remains, and we remain committed to that. On the no-fly zone side, we've been very successful in stopping the use of fighter aircraft and helicopters, and as late as yesterday, we destroyed another helicopter on the ground in this area. I am satisfied that we are meeting our mission in the no-fly zone, as we are on all fronts. Finally, the embargo continues to be most successful in removing and preventing the movement of illegal arms and weapons that will continue to provide weapons to the regime for that, and then follow on to be used against the population. Overall, we've done significant improvement, and I believe today Libya is a much safer place than it was on the 31st of March for the population. But there's still much work to do, and we're remaining committed on our mission to bring to an end this situation and to bring to an end the violence against the people. That is my view of the situation, and I'll open up for question at this time.